How's it going, everybody? Beaverworx Diecast Racing, and you want to know something? We haven't done a long form build video for a little while, so we're going to do one for the MCM Mini Truck Madness, Papa Pugsley, and we are going to send in a Volkswagen Caddy. Oh yeah, and we're going to go all out on this one. I've been doing some short videos, doing some builds lately, and learning a lot of tricks on finishing, and I've got some new products and I'm going to try them all out on this guy. So let's get it open, starting right from scratch. Here it is. This is the Light Sucks Volkswagen Caddy. We had a choice of he gave us 4 different trucks that we could use, mini trucks, and I've got a couple of them, the Mazda Rebu and a couple of others, but the Caddy is the winner for me just because it's got those gold 5-spokes, and I love those wheels. They're not the actual go-through ones here, but they'll do. All right, let's get into this thing. Rip open action. I love doing the opening. All right, there it is. Fresh out of the pack, glory right there. And now we are going to do stuff to it. All right, look at this little guy. Looks pretty cool. He has got a skateboard in the box. We'll definitely keep that. Got a little engine cooler. Got some headlights. It's got some roll bars in the top. Really low. It's a plastic base, but that doesn't matter. We will make that work. Oh, there it is. It's even got the taillights. I'll try and save those on the paint, maybe. Restore that Volkswagen on the gate. All right, step 1. Let's get this thing apart. All right, first bit of the operation here. Get the rivets out of these things now. Usually got this all set up. Fat bit, get the rivets out. And while you're here, I'm going to start doing this because I made the mistake of getting so far into the build. And then you remember, oh I got to get the screws in there. So while you got the drill and while you're doing the rivets anyways, might as well put your freaking screws in as well. Well, there's my bit for the tap, and then there's my screws, and I've got my tap right over here. It's ready to go. Might as well do it all at once, eh? I mentioned before about taking your time, not going super fast, just so that you can control where you're going in there, right? If you go too crazy, too fast, you're going to blow right through the plastic, and it's going to get to a point where you're through it too far and you can't get a good drill point on there. Nice thing about doing the drilling like that and getting slow is you can still get that little point inside there, which makes using the tap real easy. I found with drilling it's always good to use a little bit of lube every time you put the bit down. It'll save on your bit and it'll give you some nice clean holes. And there's nothing wrong with saving your drill bit for a little while. All right, got those posts drilled out nice. You should just pop apart here. Yeah. I like getting a little bit of click, just so I know. There's the rest. Out she goes. There is going to be the paint job on this guy. And we're going to figure out what we can do with this guy. This side's unusual. I got to be careful how deep you go because it's a small post and you can zip right through the other side if you go too far. That doesn't happen very often, but I think we got them deep enough here and get some screws inside there. What do you think? All right, got some nice thread cut in there. And we should be able to bury a screw in there, no problem. All right, kids, here we go. Oh, we got the post all dug out there. We got some threaded holes. Now, I'm going to prep this guy for some paint. Now, you've seen my channel, or maybe you might have seen a couple of my other videos. I'm not exactly sure, but when it comes to the paint, I have been going about it the hard way, but effective, and doing it with different brushes. I've showed you the brush method, but this time we're trying something completely different. Because I've seen everybody else try it, and I want to try it. So this time, we got some paint stripper. Oh yeah. I lay it over here on the side. Aircraft paint stripper. So we are going to get into a more ventilated area like outside, and I'm going to lay it to this truck with some profile. Let's see how that works. All right. All right, so there it is. That was after all of that with the goo, and it did a pretty good job. Didn't quite get it all off there, but I probably could have left it on there for a little bit longer as well, but either way, it's good enough. So now the next phase is another thing that I didn't do the last couple of times, and we're going to do it already right now. And that's to, oh, we just did that, so now we do primer. Oh, yeah, so back outside really quick, do a primer coat on this guy, and then it will be ready to do the graphics. I've had problems with the paint peeling off, and that's because I didn't use primer. So now we're going to try primer, see how it does. All right, there we go. It's got some primer on it now, and looks pretty cool. Let's do the chassis back on it just for fun. Looks like it's in the body shop now. All right, no screwing around. I gotta get that out of there. But no, there it is. So there's stuff I didn't take last time, and I had paint peel problems, so I'm pretty sure that paint's going to stick good this time. I'm going to try and work some of those details out too. All right, here we go. So always good to have a plan before you go ahead on something like this. So I actually sketched something up here. So all right, this is what we're going to be doing. So we got the thing here, and we're going to polish the axles right there. We're going to put some paint stuff on the outside of it. They got add some heavy stuff on the inside of it. And then there's these pretty sticker things. They're going to go all the over the outside of it. All right, so there's the plan. All right, so then we're going to get this back apart. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do some paint stuff, because that always takes the time to dry. And in the dry time, I'm going to move over and do the chassis stuff, which is going to be pry the axles out, polish those up, and I'm probably going to do my trick right. Hack that whole middle section out of there, and I'm going to put a big chunk of lead in there to weigh it down. nice and flat, because I always like to weigh my cars and get it as low as possible. Cool.
Yeah, on the Hudson, we have the oldest commercial fishery in North America. It's 350 years old. And even
she could be at work or something, or in the family, or she could be out. Okay, so I'll walk away from something. My hair is under investigation too. Let me get some.
All right, kids. So the color scheme, we're getting pretty normal on this. Everything exposed right now, that's going to be white. So that'll be white. That means we're going to have enough room to do our really, really cool rust belt racing decals, because they are awesome. But these ones aren't the white backs, they're the clear backs, so it needs a white surface to go on, so that'll be the white. That'll be a head at the top. There'll be a Beaverworx on the bottom across the door, but it has to be a white surface or something light colored. Usually I use white, so that means everything on the front extra here, that's all going to go white. And that little line right there, and you just sit there, and once you got your tape on there, you can just sit there and make sure that line stays nice and crispy. Running your tape, and we'll run it anything pointy. Use my tweezers just to really cut your lines in there. Set it, pinch it down, make sure nothing's going to leak right across the back. So there's the white. This in here, and on the roof and up the sides, that's the red. And I'll have the big 99 on the hood, because that is the only surface big enough on this entire vehicle to put it. Then the back, that'll be the black. So it'll be the white, red, and black, and then decals. Clear? All right. All right, kids, we've now moved everything over to the paint shop here. And big secret, watch this. Paint shop, where I build everything. Paint shop, where I build everything. Yeah, paint shop, like literally like a piece of foam board wrapped around here, right? So, stuff straightened back out here. All right, so got a cup. Done a few different versions on this now, but this one's starting to stick. There's our thinner. I'm still on a lot of the old tester stuff, so the thinner works great. You just need like not very much. Few drops of this stuff, and like I don't actually not getting technical measurements or anything else like that, so that looks about right. All right. Problem is that apparently Testers has discontinued, so now I've basically run out of the Testers white, so now I'm switching over to the Tamiya stuff. And it's pretty much the same. Still works good with the thinner, so I've had no problems. All right, squirt some white all over this now. By the time I figure I'm done dipping and mixing this stuff, because that's all I do. I don't do any pouring. You just got to grab yourself a little stick. The stick. You got that in there, and I'll just pull out a drop at a time. I think the combination is about a 70%, 70-30 mix. So you're kind of eyeballing that. Like at a drop at a time here. A couple of drops here. And as it goes, you'll notice more. I try not to, when I'm mixing, cross-contaminate the stick between the paint and the thinner. It'll start happening once you start mixing, but try and get your ratio in there pretty close before you start going. And I bet you that was pretty close. We'll see. This is a nice, brilliant white here. I'll move it up the sides to see how it covers on the sides. Stir, 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 stir. That doesn't look too bad. See, it'll just enough that it'll cover the side up there. It's still thin enough. Still got some. That's going to go through the nozzle, okay? That's pretty good. Another thing, kids, make sure every single time you're not using any of these jugs, put the cap back on it. Because you never know when you're going to screw up and your finger's going to drift over and knock one of these things over. As I'm talking about it, I got the cap off this thing still. Nice. Put your cap back on, folks. Save you a mess all over your counter. I don't know if I showcased this thing enough yet, but I'm telling you, this right here, I think it's like for doing like nails and other small stuff like that, is an excellent investment. Charges up off of the USB. This thing's this little compressor in itself. Hit the little button. You've got air compressor. Absolutely amazing. Definitely recommended right here, folks. All right, folks, here we go. It is a little bit later on. Finished doing the spraying, and it's turned out nice. You see the shine there? What's what you're looking for is the shine. Even underneath on the front, got some shine. All right, this time I think we did the primer. Everything was supposed to, so pretty sure we're not going to have any kind of sticky issues this time. And in between, after we sprayed the coat on, I'll show you this part for the next part, but in between every coat, always come back and give her a little clear. So we gave it a shot of the clear just over top of the white, and that, I hope, is going to help make sure the tape doesn't get sticky to the tape when I mask it off here. I've had problems with it peeling off more than once, and hopefully we can do this. So that means the white coat is done, and we are going to go into the red coat now.
Where he was sitting in the third floor of his, I'm talking to this woman, he's hearing this bing, 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 bing.
All right, moment of truth here. Let's see how this worked out. I still got to do a final clear coat on it. I want to see and make sure that the red stayed on and that the white stayed on, and that everything is going to come out nice and clean. So far, so good. Look at that. Super nice. All right. There's the base colors. I'm going to throw some detail into that. Don't mind the metallic red. All right. All right, let's move over to the chassis here for a little bit. Did a little painting there. So now we got to get those axles out of there. And you like using this. Take a screwdriver, sharpen it up. Now, I like to reuse the tabs, if I can, without snapping them out. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. This isn't going to be a suspension job, I don't think. So if we just get in there real careful, and sometimes you can pry these guys up just enough to loosen that axle up without actually snapping them. Sometimes you snap them. Come over that hurdle when you have to. Then the middle one, just up enough. If you can get under it, sometimes they're tricky. And almost. This guy's got to come up a little bit more right here. Terrible focus job. But, boop, there it is. All right. Axle number 1. I'm going to hang on to those because we're going to polish those. You could pop it out, but if you don't have to really mess up the axle too much, don't. Okay. Boop, it'll pop out. There they are. So, we'll do the axle thing later. In the meantime, we got this out. And the game here again is I'm going to get my Dremel tool. We're going to hack that whole bottom out. Whole rectangle. I use a drill, punch the hole, and then got this little, almost like a drum bit, barrel bit, that'll go through and cut through the rest of that hole. All right, we got her all cut out and cleaned up. Edges look pretty nice. Tried a few different methods for doing this, but I think the tried and true method for getting some weight into this is, if you saw my little short video there, I did a mold, and it didn't come out as clean as I wanted it to, and I have to work on the process using tin foil because it left a little bit of a gap and I had to use an awful lot of glue. So this time, and the last few times worked really well, was just sketching it out and then cutting it out. So what we got here is a big old flat chunk of lead. I hammered this thing down. It looks like a piggy. It actually just came out looking like that. Either way, we're going to hack a big section out of this piggy. I'm just going to put the lead, put it over top of the lead spot like that, find a place where it can fit, and then I'm just going to take a Sharpie, I'm going to sketch that out, and then we're just going to snip it out of there. All right. All right, there it is. Oops. It does look like a pig. That's hilarious. We're about to hack a big square out of a pig. All right. All right, we've got to hack out our pig here, and between those kinds of things and these kinds of cutters and even your old pliers here, takes a little bit of all. And eventually, we can whittle this hunk out of there. It's usually a lot of scarring and bending. It takes a little bit of time. It's not as easy as just doing the mold thing, but I think we can cut it down a lot cleaner doing it this way. And even just scoring it and scoring it like this, it's kind of like drywall. If you score it just right, it'll snap right where you want it. All right, so now we got that line in there. Take the old pliers and bend her back and forth a couple times. Boop. There we go. Clean line. I guess in a lot of cases you should be wearing gloves or something like that. This is lead. I've worked with it enough to know better than to stick my fingers in my mouth or my eyeballs or up my nose while I'm doing this, and wash your hands thoroughly afterwards. It's not any good to do any grinding or anything else like that on it either, because you don't want it to blow it into little shards. All right. All the extra pieces go into the, I'm going to melt it down again someday jug. Let's see how well this fits. Always going to have to do some micro adjustments here, but that's where the rest of the clippers here and stuff. But overall, still got some gaps in there. Not quite as tight as what I would like, but good enough. That is a good hunk of weight for a race car. Nice and low, super low. Fits the profile nice. Disappears right in there. Good enough.
The date that Titanic went down, let's say it's, I don't know, July 4th, 1923, or whatever it was. You can say, you know, you can tell it's July 4th, 1920, knows nor cares, like whether it's quote unquote real or not.
What was the issue with some of the chat GPT answers?
Political persuasion than the other, and so more of the text will be in a certain direction versus the other.
All right, look at that. She's all dry. She's good to go. Don't see through it there. Good old epoxy. Either way, that's all nice and smooth down there. Pretty good. And pretty flush, eh? Nice. So, didn't put a ton of weight in there, but enough, and put it in the right spot. I think, looks like it. It's kind of slightly forward and as low as it can possibly go. All right, so going to throw some black paint on the bottom and then go finish up the body. Polish some axles. All right, everybody, here's a part I love doing. This is polishing your axles. Now, just in case you guys get the Dremel set and you get this tub of goo, that's actually polishing compound, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to get your Dremel going. You're going to dip it in there and you're going to get some on there. And then we're going to hit the end of the axle, hold it and wipe it around there. Go about at least 20 turns. And super important when you get done, just have a piece of paper towel lying around so that you can get in there and actually clean the axle off before the wheel slides back down on it, because you don't want to get no residue inside of those little wee holes. Right? Right, do this. right after you shut down, before you let that wheel slide down. Get any residue off of there. Clean it up nice. You can see it's even shiny on the end there. And like, here's the difference. Haven't polished this side yet. Watch this. Kind of stops. Just finished polishing this side. Ready? Here it comes. Yeah, kids. Polishing axles works. Big difference. All right, now we're going to get into the water slide decals. Oh yeah, Rust Belt Racing for the excellent job he does putting these little guys together. All right, so I got the typical scheme. We're going to put on a Beaverworx race car here, so might as well start off with the great big one. Everything from the shop. We got our number pick, which is number 99. Water slide decals. Dip them in the water. Let them hang out there for a second. Well, I guess you can't see the water over there, can you? Here, try it. Boop. There's the glass. There's the 99. Soaking inside there. Warm water works good. Get it to slide off there. Like, get it just a little wet down there first. Grab this guy. This is the biggest surface we got, so number 99 is going on the hood. Alright, get that centered up here. Lock it in there with a piece of paper towel. Even if you paper towel it, you can still move it around if you're real careful. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Close enough. Alright, you know I'm getting serious. I get the help hands out. I'm going to try and get the actual Beaverworx word down on the bottom half there. The door skin. Down along the rockers. There. When you're working on small stuff, small pieces of paper towel work great. Yeah. There we go. Good enough, eh? All right. So we can get the number on there now. All right. there's what one side's going to look like. Just got to rinse, repeat for the other side. Start putting it together. All right, kids, here we go. It's the moment of truth. Let's put it together and see what it looks like. Now, for me, resetting the axles here, because I didn't take those pins out, in there, I can rebend those pins back down, and then when you put the seats back in there, it's got those cradles. So as long as those pins are secured down, we should be okay. All right, there we go. You see the pins, just folded them back over onto the axle there, hold her back in there. Then still got the good polished wheels on there too. Lots of action out of those. Which is good. All right, so there's the wheels back into the base. Get the glass in. Get the base down. See how it's going to look. There's one. There's the second. Look at that. Get her screws back in here. There it is. Oh yeah. Not too shabby on this one, folks. I like it.